What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Joe JH Overcomes, America's Friendliest Cop, coming at you with your late night lives on Sunday Night Lives. Hey, listen, jump on real quick. I won't be before you long. Okay, you guys know how this goes. I wanted to come in, stop in, and check my people real quick, make sure everybody's doing well. Okay, I know we're going through a lot of things right now in this country. I know we're going through a lot of things right now personally, and I always want to make sure that I jump on and make sure I'm checking on people to see how they truly, truly are. Not just in passing, not just through regular social media stuff, but sincerity, and really, really wanting to make sure that, people are doing okay. So jump on. Okay. Don't forget to shout out your location where you're shouting out from. I wanted to make sure that I was able to reach everybody. I know this was when I sent this out, I got a couple people who reached out to me and asked me what this was going to be about tonight. And I wanted to really address the issues of anxiety, okay, that people that you can deal with like during certain times that we're going through right now. It's no surprise, okay, that we are experiencing some difficulties within our country, but not as much as other countries right now, thank God. But it still has an effect, sometimes on our country. And that's one of the things I really, really, really want to address tonight as far as, what's going on in the other parts of the world. So jump on. Don't forget to shout out your location. Please, please, please. We won't be before you long. I'm going to make sure that, um, we address anything that needs to be talked about. I got a couple of inbox questions, man, that I really want to address too. I'm going to address it. And I'm kind of excited about that. I'm really am excited about that. So, what's going on? Tell me if you can, okay, how you're feeling about the current situation. Okay, keep it personal to yourself. Okay, without getting into the politics of it all, without getting into the hatred of it all. Just if you could just let us know how you're feeling. If there's somebody in the chat that can help you feel a little bit better, maybe there's somebody in the chat that's making you, that's going to make you feel a little bit more comfortable with the way you're feeling, because you know what, you're not alone. Okay, you're not alone in this world, and I want you to know right now that whatever you're going through, okay, there is always somebody here in the JH Overcomes room that can always help you through something if I can't help you personally. So it's no secret, what's going on in our world right now. It's no secret. And it's really and I'm talking about as far as the war that's going on right now with Russia and Ukraine. And just seeing some of the images, just seeing some of the videos, just seeing some of the things that are going on in the world right now. It really can have an effect on you. It really can have an effect on you. Can have an effect on you here, right where we are in the United States. And I know that I'm not um, broadcasting just in the United States. I have people that follow all over the world. And if you are in that area, our prayers are with you. Our prayers are with you. I know that there have been some times where um, you feel like you're alone in this world, but trust me, okay, our prayers are with you. We really want to be able to, get that out to you, and we, it's important that we address certain things and um, not just skim over it, as if we're not, as if there's not a possibility of you becoming a victim to this also. Okay. And what do I mean by that? Some people will say, yeah, well, we're not victims. We're not going through anything. We're not experiencing anything. Well, if you have high anxiety, if you have, high stress levels, if you have things that you deal with in your personal life, if you're not careful, these things can affect you to the point where it actually numbs you. It actually numbs you. And I noticed that when I was watching the news and I was watching the media. You guys know me. I don't watch much news at all. Okay, but when there's a major event, okay, when there's something that really needs to be addressed, I am up to date on current events. And watching, some of the things that we've been watching over the past couple of days with the Russian invasion, watching some of the things. And this is not a political topic. This is not a political broadcast. This is just really to help you understand that whatever you're feeling, you're not alone. And watching some of the things that I've watched, me myself having seen some terrible things in my life, in my line of work. No matter how much you see in your own personal life, it's never easy to watch some of the things that you've been watching and some of the things that we've been watching on social media, on mainstream media, on the things that we're dealing with and things that people are dealing with in different countries. And I really wanted to address that tonight because if we're not careful, We will be consumed by it if we're not careful. This is something that can affect us in a way that really, it might not show you right away, but you wind up staying up late at night. You wind up waking up in the morning, you're watching it. Every time you turn on your phone, it's there, and there's really no escape for you. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to give you a few tips tonight to help you get through those things, to help you deal with that, how to manage certain stress levels, how to manage certain crisis levels in your life. Because, as a former, crisis negotiator, and hostage negotiator, I've dealt with people who have dealt with a lot of different stresses in their life and dealt with a lot of different emotions and anxieties. And anxiety is very, very real. Okay. Our country right now is, I mean, the world. I mean, we're just getting adapted to coming out of, COVID, a pandemic. And then all of a sudden, boom, we have more world events that can really shake the world. And for those of you who are just jumping on and saying, you know what, Joe, how is it shaking us? How is it possible? Those people are going through a lot worse things than we are. Well, that is true. Okay, that is true. But there is a certain mental trauma that you can go through. Okay, when you feel the need that you want to help somebody so much and you really can't do it. You feel the need that you want to pray for somebody so much, but you really don't want, you don't know, you can't find the words. And you can suffer from a type of trauma that way. You can. And I remember, it was right around the time during 9/11, there were certain stresses that people dealt with when they had this stress level of wanting to help so bad. Okay, so people who are empaths right now, people who, have high levels of empathy, people who have high levels of sympathy, the things that you'll watch, the things that you'll see, if you're not careful, you can be consumed with that. So I wanted to get on, and I wanted to make sure that we're dealing with this well. Sonia Cook says, "When I get anxious, I react in anger. Okay, I'm struggling to control that." Great, great point. Great, great point. I was going to address that tonight, Sonia. It really is. It'll change you. Okay, anxiety will change your state. Okay, it really will. And people react to it differently. Some people withdraw. Okay, some people lash out. Some people lash out with anger. Some people lash out with more stress. Okay, and with all the things going on in the world right now, this is the last thing you need. And I was driving down the block today, and I had my little girl in the car with me. My little girl, she's 17. Okay, I had my little girl in the car with me, and I'm driving down, and we happen to see these two people getting ready to get into a fight. Okay, and the anger that I saw on the people, the anger that I saw on these people getting to a fight, if you know me, I stopped the car. I don't want to see anyone hurt each other. I stopped the car, and my daughter said, "Dad, Dad, Dad," and I said, I know, baby girl, but I can't stand here and watch these two men hurt each other. Okay, I can't do this. It's just in me to try to at least do the best I can, even though it's not my fight. Okay, it's just in me to do something to try to make sure that somebody doesn't hurt each other over something stupid. And I can see not just that, but I've come across a couple of circumstances ever since this whole thing has started where I'm watching people react in anger, react in different types of stress levels, and react in different types of ways. And again, if you're not careful, these things will consume us so much, okay, that we will start to react in certain ways and we don't even realize we're having these chemical reactions in our body. We will start to act in certain ways that will become unfamiliar with us because of what's going on in the world. So it's important for us to realize that, when things happen throughout the world, okay, the victims are not only directly related to the actual incidents. Okay, sometimes it creates victims throughout the world. When you think about terrorism itself, okay, and you think about a country or you think about a certain region, a certain area that has been struck by terrorism, and we watch the news and we become a part of it, and we actually put ourselves into these situations, it affects us also. So it's also creating alternative victims. It's also creating secondary and third and tertiary victims to a matter that you're not directly connected with. And it's important for you to realize that these things will happen to you no matter how strong you are, no matter how much you think you have it under control. If you consume too much of it, it will cause an anxiety level that you can't control. Okay, so these tips I'm going to give you tonight are going to help you with that. Hopefully, Sonia, that helps you with that. Louise, she says, I don't watch TV, pollution, and that alone will bring on stress. All I hear people say, scary. All I hear people say, scary. My trust is in God. He is still in control. And Louise, absolutely right. You are absolutely right. No matter what happens, God is in control. And you know, me being a spiritual person, Okay, sometimes I realize that, you know, there are parts of the world, there are parts of my life that have to be spiritually related, but when it comes down to it, I can't spiritualize everything. As sometimes, we have to step out of that spiritual realm. And I'm not saying you're wrong. You're absolutely right, Louise. Um, when For me, I have to step out of that spiritual realm, okay, and be able to function in a way that I have to be able to act. Again, my former career as a police officer, it was great. I'm a praying man, okay? I am a spiritual man. But when action hits, okay, I'm not praying at that moment. Okay, I'm not reacting spiritually at that moment. It's up to me, whatever I have inside me to carry me through that moment. Okay, because action is real. Okay, confrontation is real. Okay, war is real. Stress is real. All these things are very, very real. And there's going to come a point where we have to step out of a spiritual realm, okay, and address the matters at hand. And I love the way that you address it, Louise. That's exactly right. If you don't have a if you don't have a praying life, okay, if you don't have a meditation life, if you don't have a life that you can break away from certain things and you can remove yourself from a certain situation or certain circumstances, okay, in your own personal life, okay, then you're going to struggle more than others. Right now, does this mean that you have to walk around being a Bible thumping Christian and everything that you do has to be spiritually connected? No, but what I'm saying to you is that you have to be able to dictate some time, delegate some time for yourself. Okay, whether it's early morning, whether it's 10 minutes before bed, whether it's throughout the day, whether it's breathing exercises, whether it's meditation, whether it's prayer, whatever it is that you need to do to help you. Derek, what's going on, brother? How are you, sir? God bless you. Whatever it is that you need to do personally to help you get through these situations, try to find that time. Try to find that time and to realize that you're going to have to make ways for you to get through these things. And the first thing I want to say tonight is one of the things that we can do, tip number one, to help us get over going through anxiety levels, high anxiety levels of dealing with crisis. Again, as a former crisis negotiator, a hostage negotiator, this was an area of expertise that I had of dealing with people with these types of things. So one of the things that you can do is limit the news media that you consume. Okay. Now, I know it's difficult. Okay. It's part, and some of it's exciting to some people. Okay. Now you may say, Joe, that's just crazy. It's not exciting. No, you have to realize that for some people, this is exciting. For some people, this takes them away from their everyday stresses. This takes them away from their everyday depression and everyday anxieties and actually allows them to focus on something different. Now, in the interim, can it cause more depression? Absolutely. Can it cause more anxiety? Absolutely. This is why you need to limit what you consume on the media, on social media, on mainstream media. We have to be able to limit that. And this includes what we're allowing our kids to listen to. Now, I know that some of us live in these big mansions, right? And we think that the kids can't hear in the next room or the kids can't hear our conversations in the next room. You're wrong. You're wrong. Listen, I grew up in a household where, people will always say, they can't hear us, we have these conversations. Sometimes when you guys are arguing, right, you may be arguing with your husband or your wife, and you're like, yeah, the kids can't hear. The kids can't hear. No, they can hear. They can hear. So we have to be listen, I grew up hearing some things I didn't want to hear coming from my parents' room. I'm just saying it is what it is. But anyway, so what I'm what I'm saying to you is we have to be very, very careful about how much we're consuming when it comes down to social media, when it comes down to mainstream media. It really makes a difference. It can become addicting. Okay. The stories can become addicting. The action can become addicting. And before you know it, you feel like you're just watching a movie. Okay. And you become numb to it and you become insensitive to it because now it's no different than us watching Netflix. Okay. And we have to realize that mainstream media, okay, and posted this earlier, mainstream media has investors, right? Mainstream media has people, okay, that make money, okay, from their investments, okay, by investing into these mainstream media streams. So because they have mainstream, because they have investors, okay, because they have ratings and things like that, it's their job, okay, to make sure that they get the news out. Unfortunately, It's not always the truth. It's not always the truth. And I know it's not a conspiracy theory. I know what you're saying, Joe. Yeah, well, no, I'm telling you for a fact. As a former law enforcement officer, I can tell you that I would be a part of a certain situation only to read it in the media or to see it on the TV 2 days later or a day later, and it was nothing close to what happened. Nothing close to what happened. Okay. But what did it do? It sold newspapers. Okay. It sold TV spots. Okay. It got ratings up. These are the things that happen, people. Now, I'm not saying that everything that we're watching isn't real. Okay. I'm not saying that everything we're watching isn't true. Okay. Because there are some things that you just can't deny. Okay. The images that we see of these people laying in the streets and these bombs going off and all these things that you see, these are very, very real. When you see kids screaming, when you see kids in the street like, because they don't have a place to stay, or these families, just loaded up at train stations and bus stations and walking 30 miles. Okay, these are all things that are real. Okay, this country is under attack. Okay, that I'm talking about the Ukraine. It is under attack, and it's important for us to be able to filter certain things when we're watching these things. Okay, the mainstream media's job is to make sure that they get the news out to you. This is why when you watch a certain news channel, okay, who supports a certain type of political party, and another news channel that supports a different type of a political party, you get different stories. Okay. And then what causes that? And then what happens is it causes us to fight against one another. Okay, it causes us to want to argue with one another just based on what they're feeding us because they know exactly what to feed their followers. Okay, they know listen, it's no different than me being on social media. Okay, it's no different than me being a speaker. I know what my listeners want to hear. Okay, I know this. Okay, there's a research that gets done. There is backstage stuff that gets done to realize, okay, well, I'm looking at this level. I'm looking at what I'm seeing here. Okay, these people are responding to this. So this is why I'm able to get on here, and this is why you consistently follow me because the person who's consistently following me, I'm not talking about the person who pops in is like, he's full of crap, whatever the case is. It's not going to be enticing to everyone. But when I speak about overcoming adversity, it's not a brand. It's not a brand. It's something that people need help with. So we have to really watch, okay, how much news media we consume, how much social media we consume, and how much we allow our children to consume. Okay. Our children right now, they have seen pandemics. They have seen war. Okay. They have been a part of a country, a world where we walk around and masks have become normal for them. Okay. And now when we're getting ready to come out of the mask, some of these kids don't even want to take the mask off. Okay. There are people right now just don't want to take it off. And some of them used it to hide. Now, I'm not this is not about mask. Okay. This is not whether you want to wear one or don't want to wear one. I'm just giving you an example of what our children have been exposed to in their young lives. Okay. On top of school, on top of peer pressure, on top of I'm too heavy, I'm too skinny, on top of I'm not good at sports, on top of I don't know if this girl likes me or this guy likes me. Okay. And I have to pass school and I have to get through all these things. I'm not going to be able to finish my senior year of my favorite sport. There's so many things that our children have gone through, so many different things, and we can't minimize that because we're so caught up in the world, because we become numb to it, because we keep pounding ourselves with it daily. Okay. At some point, we will become numb to the things that go on around us, again, in my line of work, there were things that I saw, okay, that I can probably handle better than the average person because the first time you see it, you may be completely blown away. But there's certain things in my life that I've seen I'm just not blown away by anymore. And it's not about me. I'm just giving you an example of exactly what can happen if we consume ourselves too much with the things that are going on in the world right now. Are they real? Absolutely. Okay. Are we dealing with them? Absolutely. But we have to be able to manage and function and have our normal everyday lives because if we don't, okay, we will kill ourselves mentally, physically. We're not eating right. Okay. We're not sleeping right. We're not doing the things that we need to do. We're not exercising based on everything that's going on around us. And it's going to cause more anxiety. So That's tip number one as far as overcoming the anxiety of dealing with crisis and dealing with things that are going on in the world. We have to limit our media. Colleen says articles are always wrong, even when they have. Okay, we put this on. I know Colleen works in CSI, so she definitely knows this. Okay, articles are always wrong. Okay, even when they have a video, the commentary doesn't always match the video. But reporters comment in a way to make you distrust your eyes, and this is absolutely true. I can show you a video, a 30-second video, okay? And I can put any type of music to it. I can cut it and chop it. I have edited my own videos, so I know exactly what it's like to splice a video where it will run spaceless. It'll seamless right into one another where you don't even know I made a mistake. You don't even know that there was something else in there for 30 seconds and I just spliced it together. Okay. Now, this can be used for good. Okay, like when I'm saying, like when I do it for myself, because I don't want you to see the mistake I made or the blooper I made. Okay, or it can be used for evil. Okay, like when we have these news media channels that will put something together and make you believe it and then have you fighting with your neighbor because of something you saw somebody say on the news channel. Okay, but because something you said on social media. We have to be careful with that, people. So try to limit your social media during this time and try to understand that you can be consumed by this. Okay, let's see. Louise says, thanks. I understand that your job was most difficult. Each day, you don't know what to expect. Joe, you are a kind soul, you are humble, and you certainly have a gift of discernment. May God bless you and keep you. Thank you so much, Louise. I appreciate that. I appreciate your comment. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. Um, so this is what we have to do to make sure that we start to limit ourselves. Tip number two, okay, we need to realize that worldwide crisis creates victims all over the world. Okay, and we have to be able to make sure that we don't become a victim of what's going on the other side of the world. Okay, so how do you do that? It's hard not to internalize certain things by watching what we see. It's hard not to wish that we can be there to help. It's hard not to feel pain and feel hurt for the things that are going on in the world. But again, we have to be able to control our own anxiety levels, and the best way to do that is to make sure that you are monitoring yourself on a daily basis. If you have to watch the news, that's fine. I'm not knocking you. Okay, if you have to see it, if you want to get an update, that's great. But if you're one of those people who has to get every notification that comes across your phone, that's okay if you can handle that. That's okay if that gives you comfort. That's okay if that gives you peace. But if you know that that's no good for you and you know that you can't handle that, then you have to be the one to turn it off. You have to be the one to take the step. You have to be the one to say, you know what? I know I can't be around this environment. I have to keep myself away from that environment. It's no different than if I'm a former alcoholic. I don't like when people say I'm an alcoholic forever. If I'm a former alcoholic or I'm a former drug addict, I can't be around certain people, right? If I'm a former gambler, okay, and I'm a recovered gambler, overcame that, then I can't be around certain environments. If you know for a fact that you can't be around certain environments, then you need to remove yourself from that environment. It's okay. And if people don't understand, that's not for them to understand. That's you protecting your peace. That's you protecting your mind because you know you better than anyone else knows you. All right. So make sure that you're removing yourself from different environments, removing yourself from certain social media networks, removing yourself from the TV if it needs be, if need be, because you know what you can handle and what you can't handle. All right. Another tip. Okay, and this is probably going to be the last tip. Don't fall into hatred, people. Okay, please, please, please don't fall into hatred. And I'll tell you exactly what I mean by that. I've watched people, okay, on social media. I've watched people who, in my own circle, okay, who all of a sudden everybody in Russia is bad. Who all of a sudden, okay, and I need to see somebody will clip that, okay, and make that into something. All of a sudden, people will think that an entire nation is bad because of the decisions of their leaders, because of the decisions of a few people. Now, I happen to know um, for a fact that a couple of my broadcasts have my followers have come from Russia, okay, who have commented. And again, I get people from different parts of the world. It's not bragging, it's just a fact, right? I happen to know some great people all over the world. Okay. And if we're not careful, we will lump, okay, an entire nation of people based on the actions of few. Okay, I've watched us do it with the Muslim community. I've watched us do it with this community now, the Russian community. I've watched us do it with other parts of the world where people were. They had terrorist acts, or they have, people. They have people over there who don't do things that we agree with. We can't fall into that. Okay, we cannot fall into that. I'm watching people on social media fight one another, saying, United States is the best, we'll kill Russia. Russia's the best, we'll kill the United States. Listen, listen, please, please, please. Don't get yourself caught up into thinking that an entire world, an entire nation of people are bad because of the decisions of a few. Now, we've had a few people here in our country who have made some poor decisions that we don't want to be related to, right? It's the same thing all over the world. No matter what you do, no matter what field you get into, no matter what, it's like saying all cops are bad, or all doctors are bad, or all, nurses are bad, or all lawyers are bad. It's not true. Okay. When you start lumping people into one category, when you start lumping people into one decision in your mind based on the decisions of few, it's no different than racism. It really isn't. Okay. If you see a black man do something, that doesn't mean all black people are bad. If you see a white person who hates black people, it doesn't mean all white people are bad. Just like it doesn't mean an entire nation of people, okay, is bad based on the actions of few. Now, we all have our opinions of what's going on, okay, in other parts of the world right now. I'm not even going to give that to you. Okay. I can tell you this, it sickens me. Okay, I can tell you this. I'm one of those empaths who wishes I can do more. I'm one of those people who internalize it. Okay, so when I'm speaking to you, when I'm speaking these things to you, I'm not preaching to you. I'm speaking from experience. Okay, but because I've put myself in a position to be able to understand that, I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I can allow myself to consume too much of, and I know when to remove myself from an environment, because that's not it's not an environment for me, because I do have weaknesses. Okay, I have things that I shouldn't be around, right? That I shouldn't be watching. Okay, and it's okay. My dog is being attacked, dog. Okay, I do have things that I shouldn't be watching. I do have things that I shouldn't be involved in. So I need to make sure that I don't surround myself with these types of environments. Okay, people, please, I want you to be able to understand this. What you're going through right now, if you have high anxiety, if you have high stress, if you have high depression, and you're watching these things on the news, and you're watching these things on news networks and getting yourself all caught up in it, it's only going to lead to bad things for you. Okay, do yourself a favor. Get yourself a prayer life. Okay. I'm not going to tell you who to believe in. I'm not going to tell you what to believe in. Okay. I know what my beliefs are right now. I know what my beliefs are, but that's not for me. Okay. To put onto you right now. Many of you already know. Okay. Who I believe in. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. But what I'm saying to you is this: when it comes down to it, you have to be able to separate yourself, okay, from this world sometimes. Okay, does that mean you walk around in a fog? Does that mean you walk around in a cloud, like nothing goes wrong, or the world is not real? No. What it means is that if you don't find the time for you, right? And one of my mentors, he said, listen, if you don't have 10 minutes for yourself, then you don't have a life. If you can't find 10 or 15, 20 minutes for yourself to steal away, whether it's in the morning, whether it's telling the kids, hey, listen, I got to go do my thing. Okay. Whether it's before the kids wake up, or whether it's after the kids go to bed, or whether it's after you get off work or before you go to work. If you don't have 10 minutes for yourself, you will never overcome the things that you're dealing with. Okay. You have to learn how to put yourself first. And that means you being first, so that way you can be good for the other people around you. If you're no good first, you can't be good for anyone else, which means they're not going to be able to be function. They're not going to be able to function also without you being the person that you need to be. So take some time for yourself. Make sure you're not consuming too much social media and too much media during this time of war. We're going through all these things in the country. Make sure you're not consuming too much, as we're getting wrapped. We're sort of coming out of COVID, okay? And we're getting ready to come back into the real, not the real world. I'm sorry. where we're getting ready to come back into things where, things were the way they were. If we're thinking that the world is going to be normal again, I don't think it's ever been normal. Okay, the world has never been normal, but we can overcome it. Okay, we can adapt to it, and we can make sure that we are doing the best that we can to make sure that we're better people. All right. I'm your boy Joe J. To becomes America's friendliest cop. I will see you when I see you. Sonia, thank you so much. Angela, thank you so much for all your help and all your things that you do. Louise, thank you for your comments. Listen, everybody who jumped on. Melissa, thank you, baby, for jumping on. Whoever, make sure you share this. Okay. Make sure that you um, check on each other, because I don't want you to minimize the things that are going on in this world and how it's affecting someone else just because it's not affecting you in a negative way. All right. I'm your boy Joe J. Overcomes. I will see you when I see you. But until then, peace. And I mean that literally, people. Literally. Peace. Peace.